All right, let's talk about one of the biggest puzzles out there for anyone who sells their skills. How do you get paid what you're actually worth? Because the answer, as we're about to see, isn't about working harder. It's about pricing a whole lot smarter.
I mean, really think about this for a second. It's the exact same amount of time, 40 hours. So how on earth is it possible for one person to earn 100 times more? Well, it's not about luck, and it's not just about having fancy credentials. It's about understanding the system, the hidden framework that truly defines your value.
You see, the way you price your work, it actually fits into one of 5 distinct levels. And most people, without even realizing it, get stuck on that very first rung of the ladder. That's a fast track to burnout and a hard cap on what you can earn. So let's break down the entire ladder so you can figure out how to start climbing. So here it is, the whole roadmap. We call it the ladder of value. We're going to start at the very bottom with the good old hourly rate. Then we'll move up to the flat fee, the retainer, the performance upside, and finally the absolute top, becoming an equity partner. Let's get into it.
Okay, level 1, the hourly rate. This is where almost everyone starts, and honestly, it's where far too many people stay for their entire careers. The problem is simple. If you charge by the hour, you're trading your time directly for money. And since there are only 24 hours in a day, your income has a hard, unavoidable ceiling.
This little comparison really says it all, doesn't it? When you're hourly, the risk is completely on you. If you get sick, if you take a vacation, if you stop working for any reason, the money stops. But just making that one little leap to a flat fee changes the entire game. Suddenly, you're rewarded for being fast and efficient, and the client loves it because they get a predictable cost. It's a win-win.
And here's a perfect way to think about it. Let's call it the plumber test. Imagine a pipe bursts in your house. A plumber shows up, and because they have 20 years of experience, they fix the whole disaster in 5 minutes flat. Do you want to pay them less for their expertise? Of course not. You're not paying for their time. You're paying for the result, a dry floor.
And that's the perfect lead-in to level 2, the flat fee. Now you're trading your skill for a specific result. You're selling a completed project, a finished product. It's a huge step up from hourly for sure, but it can still feel like you're on a project-to-project treadmill, always hunting for the next gig to keep the lights on. So I want you to stop and really think about this for a second. What is your 5-minute leak fix? What's that one thing you're so good at, you can do it incredibly fast and incredibly well? Because identifying that, well, that's your ticket to the next levels, where the power dynamics start to get really interesting. Welcome to level 3, the retainer. This is where you stop chasing clients and they start committing to you. The whole model gets flipped on its head. You're no longer just selling a one-off result. You're selling guaranteed access to your mind, to your expertise. You're selling your availability. And this right here, this is the entire mindset shift. You pay, then I work. It's not a request, it's a statement of your value. The best lawyers in the world, the top surgeons, they all work this way. They get paid before they start, and that changes everything. And you know why this is so powerful? Because when a client pays you up front, it's proof. It proves they're serious, they're committed, and they value your expertise. And for you, it means you take on absolutely zero financial risk. You're paid for your commitment before you invest a single minute of your time. Okay, now we're getting into the levels where real wealth is built. At level 4, your income becomes completely, and I mean completely, divorced from your time. This is where you are so confident in your skills that you're willing to bet on your own ability to deliver a specific outcome. The entire agreement just boils down to this simple, powerful trigger. You basically tell a client, look, you won't pay me a single cent until I achieve this specific result for you. Maybe that result is doubling their sales leads. Maybe it's hitting a huge revenue target. The payment is tied directly to that event. And what's the potential reward for taking on that kind of risk? Well, it can look something like this. You might do just 10 minutes of work that happens to trigger that X event. But that's not GHS 20,000 for 10 minutes of your time. It's GHS 20,000 for the incredible value you just created. You know, a lot of people are terrified of working on commission. They think, what if I do all this work and get nothing? But in the world of high-value work, the opposite is true. By confidently taking on the risk that no one else wants, you position yourself to get the biggest reward. You're making a calculated bet on you. And that brings us to the top of the mountain, the pinnacle, level 5, At this stage, you're not even a service provider anymore. You've transcended that. You are a partner. You're no longer trading anything for a one-time payment. You are trading your expertise for a piece of the long-term success, for ownership. Just look at this. This is the big idea. A royalty, an equity stake. You get paid a percentage right off the top of the revenue, potentially forever. It doesn't matter what the company's expenses are. You own a piece of the value you helped create. And you have to understand, the math at this level is just different. It's not about steady paychecks. You might try this 10 times and fail 9 of them. But that one home run, that one success, can generate more wealth than a lifetime of grinding it out at level 1. It's about owning a piece of the upside. So let's just recap this amazing journey up the ladder. We started by trading our limited time. Then we moved up to trading a finished product. From there, we sold our guaranteed availability. Then we made the huge leap to trading on risk and performance, until finally, we're trading for a piece of the ownership itself. Each step requires more confidence, but believe me, it offers exponentially greater rewards. And that brings us right back to you. After seeing the whole map laid out, from the hourly grind all the way to an equity partnership, what's your goal? The climb isn't always easy, but now you know the path. The only question left is, where on the ladder do you want to be?